increases. Okay, so when we talk about rent increases, I think I might have written rental arrears into the topic here, but I'm actually wanted to talk about rent increases. So looking at section 41 of the Residential Tenancies Act here. So, obviously it's always been, nothing's new here, that's the agent's responsibility to advise the landlord if their property actually warrants an increase due to changes in the rental market. And, current situation, current market forces, there's a lot of discussions around with landlords about what their rentals are, whether they're going up or down. Now, the agent needs to record the evidence that they got, so the comparables, the recent similar properties that have already been leased, and provide that to the landlord. Now, regular rent reviews are done by agents, and they either increase rents by small amounts. Sometimes they won't. Some landlords will say, no, I know it's more, but I want to leave it where it is to retain a good tenant. Obviously, that's something you write into your notes and into in terms of making sure that you've suggested to the landlord that they could get more, but the landlord has made that decision to leave it where it is. But let's have a look at when you can give rent increases. So it's for periodic agreements versus fixed term agreements. I've had this question, a couple of emails came in this week about this, and a couple of people have asked it when we've been on webinars. So let's just look at these quickly. Periodic agreements. If the agreement does not specify a fixed term, or if the fixed term period of the tenancy agreement has ended and the agreement's in that continuation or the periodic tenancy period, then the rent can only be increased once every 12-month period. Okay, so you can't do it. There's lots of people who used to say, well, every 60 days I'll give them a rent increase. Yet no, it's once every 12-month period. Now, the landlord must also give the tenant at least 60 days written notice before that increase starts. So nothing, again, that 60 days is nothing new. This is in periodic agreements. This also applies where a tenancy is renewed. So if they've finished one tenancy period and they're a fixed term period and they are moving into signing another lease, then it's still that 60 days notice. It's the same tenant. Yes, it's a new lease. Don't argue that fine point on it's a new lease, you can just do what you like. It's not. It's the same tenant, so it's still that 60 days applying there. Let's move on to when it's a fixed term agreement. Two issues here. For agreements where the fixed term is less than 2 years, the landlord can increase the rent during the fixed term as it sets out, if it's set out when and how that increase will occur. Now, the term of the agreement needs to actually detail or spell out the amount of the increase or the exact method of calculating that increase, either the dollar amount or the percentage amount. It can't be unclear. You can't write in line with market or by the rate of inflation or something like that. It actually needs to say the dollar amount or the percentage of how you're going to do that. So that's for agreements with a fixed term of less than 2 years. Now, for agreements with a fixed term of more than 2 years, 2 years or more, the rent can only be increased once every 12-month period. Okay, a landlord must also give the tenant at least 60 days written notice of that. Okay, so again, there's a couple of things that you need to follow here. This is all detailed in section 41 of the Residential Tenancies Act. So, obviously there's negotiation points here. There's disputes about rent increases and how you have to deal with those. And, that's a discussion, and they're the skills that you then bring into play as a professional agent.